Hello, everyone, and welcome into the Harlan County Courthouse here for election night 2024. I'm Tracy Turner. Sean Burnett's with me, and we're going to be bringing you all the election results as they come in on the big screen in front of us. And we're probably we're about 4 minutes away from polls closing. Polls close at 6, and I guess things will start coming in slow first and then kind of speed up a little bit.
Generally, you will get the absentee ballots. They'll pop in first. The early voting will pop in also. And we'll switch over to the screen and show the viewers, actually. You know, we've got the listeners on the radio. We've got viewers on the internet in different places here. And this is actually the screen I just pulled up. It's actually scrolling. That is the machine that counts the votes, and it scrolls up through like that, and we will read them to you, but you can see as it's going, you'll be able to see if, you know, like the Cumberland cannabis question's up right now. There's two options. There's the yes and the no. It'll show you absentee mail-ins, absentee walk-ins, the early voting, and then it'll show you the election day voting. And then the number that you have to look at that always gets me is the number all the way to the right. That's the total. I get hung up and get caught on like the absentee mail-in and forget to go all the way over and look at the totals.
Right.
But you've got that information. If you look up at the upper right-hand corner, it shows 24 precincts, and it shows you how many precincts have been counted. Right now, we have no precincts counted out of the 24. And it also shows that you've got how many ballots will actually be cast. A lot of information on this screen, whole lot of information.
Yeah. Well, I voted early, and I guess there you go.
Chief Deputy's got to get the fist bump. Hey, Chief Deputy, have you had any trouble during election days?
No, sir.
None that you could report?
No,
We've got Chief Deputy Jason Adams with us. No introduction needed. Everybody knows Jason.
Exactly. Actually, today's been pretty smooth. Not had any issues. There was a minor issue that Harlan PD handled at the Civic Center maybe a couple days ago. But other than that, as far as the sheriff's office goes, we've not had any issues.
Good. Do you think the turnout's been pretty heavy as far as you can tell?
I went to each voting precinct, and they told me at an early this morning, that they've been a lot of turnouts. So
yeah, that's good.
It's always good.
Hopefully you've got a calm evening the rest of the evening.
Let's hope so. Hope the country does.
Right, thank you, Jason.
Y'all have a good one.
You too. I voted as soon as the polls opened this morning, and there was like 10, I think, in front of me. And
did you say you voted at the center, at the Civic Center?
Yeah, I voted at the Harlan Center, and there was one minor problem. I think one of the people in line had a problem with the driver's license, but that was taken care of quickly. So,
I think one of the great, and people disagree with me on this, but I think one of the greatest things that has happened is when they opened it up. So you didn't have to go to just your precinct.
Yes.
You could go to anywhere that was convenient for you.
Right.
I think that's great. I mean, that gives more opportunity. If you're working on that end of the county, you can go vote.
Right.
If you don't want to go up the holler, you can come to the Civic Center. You know, some people said, "Oh, that's just causing some people not to vote." And I disagree. I think it opened it up.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing, because, like you said, you've got somebody working in Bell County, and they're headed to Harlan trying to make it before 6 o'clock.
Yep.
And they could stop at Wallens, anywhere, and vote. That's I like that. I like that a lot.
I think it's a great thing. We'll go over our sponsors real quick, because once these votes start coming in, it's going to be popping, and we're not going to have time to go over sponsors or anything. So we are brought to you tonight in no particular order by Jared Nunley Realtor, Anderson Laws and Jones Funeral Home, Grease Monkey Quick Lube and Tire, JJ Fencing and Pools, Hometown Urgent Care, Matt's Feed and Seed, and Countryside Flooring.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about the Amendment 2.
Okay.
That's on the ballot there. I'm sure most people are familiar with it. If you voted, you're probably familiar with it. But it's to allow a change to the Kentucky Constitution. It would let the General Assembly pass laws overriding certain sections of the Constitution. And those sections, they cover how funding, public funding, is dispersed between the
You want me to read actually what the amendment says? On the ballot, the amendment says Constitutional Amendment 2 is to give parents choices in educational opportunities for their children. Are you in favor of enabling the General Assembly to provide financial support for the education cost of students in kindergarten through 12th grade who are outside the system of common or public schools by amending the Constitution of Kentucky as stated below? It's proposed that the new section to be added to the Constitution will read as follows. The General Assembly may provide financial support for the education of students outside the system of common schools. The General Assembly may exercise this authority by law, and it lists the laws, which won't help us any at all knowing those laws, of the Constitution notwithstanding. It's pretty vague.
Yeah,
it really is.
It is. It is. Now, on the support side, State Senator Damon Thayer argues that Kentucky needs to move forward with more school choice, reflecting trends that's seen in other parts of the country, even traditionally blue states and cities. And he suggests that those opposing the change are protecting an outdated system. But then on the opposition side, Tom Shelton, speaking for the Council for Better Education, raises a red flag saying this measure could open the door for public education funds to be diverted to private institutions that aren't held to the same level of accountability or transparency as public schools. So you've got good arguments really on both sides. And that's going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting vote.
The only argument, I mean, the biggest thing stands out to me is yes, there's arguments, hey, this could be a good thing. And then there's arguments, hey, this is potentially going to be a bad thing.
Yeah.
But it is so vague, we don't know what it's going to do. It just says it's moving forward saying that they can provide school funding to non-traditional schools.
Right.
It doesn't explain what that means. It doesn't mean do they have to be accredited? Does the money go to homeschool students? It's not laid out. It's just opening the door to develop a system.
Right. And
I don't know what the right answer there is.
I don't either. And I'll keep my vote to myself on that.
Yeah, well, oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, anything we say, we will never endorse
No.
anything. We're just providing information.
And we've got how many write-in candidates were there for Johnny Turner's
The number
position?
11 stands out, but let me count them. I've got the list here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, there are 11. We only have 2 from Harlan County. Andrew Saylor from Wallens and John Clem from Cranks. That's the 2 from Harlan County that we're running on as write-in. The rest of them, we have Craig Blackburn, a Floyd County native, James Tyler Ward, Letcher County attorney, John Clem we already mentioned, Justin Noble, he is a practicing attorney in Knott County. Leonard Hendrickson lives in Hindman and owns an equipment company, according to his Facebook. Paul Williams is a deputy sheriff in Floyd County Sheriff's Office and a former volunteer firefighter. Scott Maiden is the mayor of Pineville.
Right.
Tanner Hesterberg, everybody knows Tanner and doesn't realize it. He was on WYMT and WKYT for a long time.
Yeah.
And he went on to become an attorney, and now he's an attorney. It says his law practice is based in Pikeville. Valerie Eisen Horn is the executive director of the Cowan Community Action Group in Letcher County. And Willie Crace, he is a businessman and a pastor. He previously ran for the Floyd County Judge Executive's race, so I assume he's in Floyd County. Yes. That information has come from WYMT. We have to give them credit. And, of course, Andrew Saylor is from Harlan County, and John Clem is from Harlan County also. That's a whole list of people that came. It was a surprise.
And several of these, if not most of these, you've only got one person running unopposed.
Yeah.
Hal Rogers, once again, running unopposed. You've got Adam Bowling. Mm-hmm. He's running unopposed. There's several on here. Let's see. I think the Commonwealth Attorney.
Yes, Karen Davenport is the only one running. Parker decided not to run this time. So Karen Davenport, it's hers, barring any legal something that might pop up. She's the only one on the ballot. No one filed as write-in. So if she gets one vote, it's hers, and I'm sure she will.
Yeah. Well, I think I noticed the county surveyor
Yeah.
Was empty?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's been empty for several years. And I don't actually know what the county surveyor does, to be honest, but it's been empty for as long as I can remember.
Okay. And, we've got council races. Most of the council races, I think, have less candidates than there are seats, except for I think Harlan. Harlan has 7 seats, and I believe there's like 10 candidates, I believe.
In that one, you can vote for 7, and listed on the ballot are Justin Luttrell, Jeff Phillips, Chris Jones, Benny Patton, Dave McCarthy, Darrell Frazier, Jason Childers, Jean Ann Lee, Jason Christian, everybody knows him as Jason, and Ann Hensley. So however many that is, only 7 are going to make it.
Yeah, I think it's 10. I think you've got 10 there.
And while we're in the city of Harlan, they also have the cannabis question.
Yes.
That one reads, are you in favor of the sale of medicinal cannabis at a licensed dispensary and the operation of other cannabis businesses in the city of Harlan? And that's a vote yes or no. And as I understand, that's in 3 cities, I think you were telling me. That is also something that doesn't enact a law that just says, if you vote yes, we're in favor of it, then they will start looking at laws and ordinances, and they will look at doing something like that.
And that would not be on your ballot unless you were a citizen
That's correct.
of Harlan or the cities that are mentioned. If you live out in the county, that would not be on your ballot.
It looks like it's the same question as in Everett and in Cumberland. That was the 3 cities that the question was asked in.
Okay. It looks like we don't have anything coming in yet. Of course, the polls have only been closed, 10 minutes?
Yep, and the very first one that will get here traditionally is the one at the Harlan Center. And even though the polls close at 6, anyone that's in line at 6 does get to vote. We checked with Debbie. She was headed out a little while ago. It was about 10, 15 minutes ago maybe, and she said there was about 15 people in line. That doesn't mean that they don't have 45 in line right now. You know how that goes. Yeah. We did have people streaming through the courthouse here asking, is this where we vote? We would direct them over to the center. So it's
well, traffic has been heavy. Vehicular traffic has been heavy today. So if that's any indication of voter turnout, then I'm sure we've got a good voter turnout. And I think nationwide, Sean, I think there's going to be a huge surge, a huge turnout. No matter who you're in favor of. I think this presidential election has really got everybody's interest, Democrats and Republicans.
This election, whether you are on the red side or the blue side, it doesn't matter. This election is a turning point for our country.
It is.
Either candidate that makes it in, our country is going to change.
Yes, one way or the other.
This is all presidential elections are important. This one is probably one of the most important of my lifetime. It's very big implications both ways. I mean, either red or blue, either way. But that one...
But even if your candidate wins, no matter which one it is, even if your candidate wins, for the next 4 years, you're still going to have belly aching.
You're right. It doesn't matter which side wins. The other one's going to complain. It's going to be interesting, and I hope that is determined quickly, and it's not stretched out over days, and I hope it is. We'll just have to wait and see. We'll be able to tell you what happened in Harlan County shortly, but and we'll also probably be able to tell you pretty much the state before we go off the air tonight.
Now, you had mentioned, too, that we had talked about the write-ins, and I'd ask you how those are tabulated, and you mentioned that we may actually have those results before we leave, and that floored me. I'm like, those are write-ins, aren't they counted by hand?
We can get some definite answers on that, Kerrigan. Go into the clerk's office there and ask them when we will know the totals for the write-in votes, if we'll know them tonight, or what the procedure is, how long it will take to count those. We'll have an answer for that shortly.
Okay.
But what I was told was in Harlan County, where we use the paper ballots, that the machine actually takes a picture of when you do the write-in. We'll take a picture of it, and then we'll compile just those pictures of just the write-in votes, and then they will just scroll through them, be able to go pretty quickly. They are counted one by one individually, but because there's pictures like that, they'll be able to scroll through it pretty quick.
And I had mentioned too, with artificial intelligence the way it is, I would say in years to come, in the near future, I would say artificial intelligence would be able to read those write-ins right away.
I'd say it could do it right now, but there's just not a trust for it at this point. And even if the computers did tabulate it all, I'm sure that if it's remotely close, they will ask for a recount, and then they'll have to go through and count them by hand then. We've got some information here. When did they?
They said it's probably going to be hours until they are able to even count it.
Hours.
She said that they told her that it would be hours before they counted them. So we'll know tonight maybe, but we probably won't be on the air still if it's several hours. But we have no precincts reporting yet. The sponsors, once again, Jared Nunley Realtor, Anderson Laws and Jones Funeral Home, Grease Monkey Quick Lube and Tire, J&J Fencing and Pools, Hometown Urgent Care, Matt's Feed and Seed, and Countryside Flooring. Stop in those sponsors and thank them for allowing us to be here.
Absolutely. Without them, we wouldn't be here. So we thank you guys tremendously.
And, the one of them we listed there, Jared Nunley, everybody knows who Jared is. Anderson Laws and Jones Funeral Home, everybody knows John. Grease Monkey Quick Lube and Tire, they seem to be the place to go for car keys at this point. They can copy any car key, even your little remote control fobs and wireless keyless entry and all that. They can make all that.
Awesome.
J&J Fencing and Pools, been here for years. That's the go-to place. Hometown Urgent Care is an awesome medical place out there near Hardee's. It's great. Matt's Feed and Seed up toward Everett's. They've got all of your grain and your feed, your straw and all that. And Countryside Flooring is a new one.
That I was looking at that I don't recognize that.
That is Ronnie Williams. He has opened a flooring shop down, where Harlan Yoga used to be beside Dan Parton's law office?
Yes.
That's where Countryside Flooring is located, and that's Ronnie Williams coming from the legendary carpet man, Zeke Williams. That's his son. And Ronnie has been doing flooring for years and years and years.
I wonder if Ronnie can throw his voice like Zeke can.
You are not the first person to tell me about Zeke doing that. I hear it was great.
He can do it. He's got me 2 or 3 times,
But that's who Countryside Flooring is.
Okay. Well, let's look at the screen. There's nothing on the screen, nothing coming up just yet. We may take a break here for a few minutes until something starts coming in, and
we'll step away and we'll be right back. back, Tracy.
Hey, we're back. We still don't have anything coming in from any of the precincts yet. It's been a little slow. Go ahead and mention our sponsors here.
We're brought to you tonight by Jared Nunley, Realtor, Anderson Laws and Jones Funeral Home, Grease Monkey Quick Lube and Tire, J&J Fencing and Pools, Hometown Urgent Care, Matt's Feed and Seed, and Countryside Flooring. Without them, we wouldn't be able to be here right now.
We appreciate our sponsors. We sure do. We were just looking on the internet, some nationwide results on the presidential race right now, and only 2 states are really popping up with some preliminaries. It looks like in Indiana, Trump is leading Harris 61.4% to 37.3%. And in Kentucky, Trump is leading Harris 66.1 to 32.8%.
And we can actually pull up the state of Kentucky there, and we can see the counties that have reported so far. Kenton County, Donald Trump got 58% of the vote. Mm-hmm. In Anderson County, Donald Trump got 53.4% of the vote. If you go to Taylor County, Donald Trump got 75.6%. Casey County, Donald Trump 87.1%, very heavily carried that county. And then Laurel County, right next door to us, Donald Trump got 81.2% of the vote. Wow. So that's what the counties that have reported so far. We don't have anything for Harlan County at this time, as well as the other. I don't know how many counties are in Kentucky. Is there like 52 or something like that?
Yeah. And looking at the screen, we still don't have any precincts with anything coming in just yet. We had mentioned that we talked a little bit about Amendment 2 earlier and what all that entails with the public funding for schools. And let's talk. Is it Amendment 1?
Yes.
We were discussing earlier.
Amendment 1 adds some language to the Constitution regarding voting. The summary says, are you in favor of amending sections 145 and 155 of the Constitution to prohibit persons who are not citizens of the United States from being allowed to vote in the Commonwealth of Kentucky? So it's proposed that section 145 will be amended to read as follows. Every citizen of the United States at the age of 18 years who has resided in the state for 1 year and in the county for 6 months, and the precinct in which he or she offers to vote for 60 days next to the preceding election shall be a voter in said precinct and not elsewhere. No person who is not a citizen of the United States shall be allowed to vote in this state. The following persons also shall not have the right to vote. Persons convicted in any court of competent jurisdiction of treason or a felony or bribery in an election or of such high misdemeanor as the General Assembly may declare shall operate as an exclusion from the right of suffrage, but persons hereby excluded may be restored to their civil rights by executive pardon. It states persons who at the time of election are in confinement under the judgment of a court for some penal offense. So people that are in jail that have been convicted cannot vote. Sounds like in this, whether it's a felony or not, if you're in jail, you cannot vote. And number 3, it says idiots and insane persons. I don't know who determines that one.
Earl Pitts.
That is an Earl Pitts story right there. And then it will also modify Section 155 to read, the provisions of Section 145 to 154 inclusive shall not apply to the election of school trustees and other common school district elections. Said elections shall be regulated by the General Assembly except as otherwise provided in this Constitution. No person who is not a citizen of the United States shall be allowed to vote in said elections.
You know, it makes you wonder about the state of our country where we have to have an amendment to the Constitution that says you've got to be a citizen to vote. That blows my mind.
I know.
But
and that appears to be the only change to that amendment in those 2 sections is it adds that you have to be a United States citizen. Why? Why would, I mean, we're not endorsing anything here, but why would you allow someone who is not a part of this country to vote?
Absolutely.
That would be like letting you make decisions on my household's finances, even though you don't live in my house and
Yeah.
have nothing to do with my house.
It doesn't make
I
sense. But again, there's a lot that goes on these days that just doesn't make sense.
Yep.
We can run down some of the candidates, I guess, that we're looking at here for Cumberland City Council. We've got Tyler Blair, Randall Corky Tackett, Teresa Polson Raleigh, Tommy Jenkins, Alana Scopa Forson, Jordan Blair, George Powers, Jonathan David Fields, and Brooke Williams. And I think there in Cumberland, was it seven seats? And so there'll be some candidates that won't make it there.
Yep.
And of course, then you've got on the ballot the cannabis question up in Cumberland. And for City Council of Everts, there's 6 seats available, and
there's only 2 officially registered. I do know of at least 2, and there's probably many more. We won't mention their names, but at least 2 missed the deadline to register for some reason and registered as write-in candidates. So we're going to have a lot. I mean, you've got 6 open seats and only 2 on the ballot.
Yeah.
So, you know, what happens?
Yeah. Clark Williams and Jacqueline Renfro are the only 2 that are showing on there. And then, of course, you got the cannabis question for the city of Everts. That cannabis question is only for Everts, Cumberland, and Harlan.
Yep.
And once again, if you live in the county, if you're not within the city limits of those 3 cities, you won't see that on your ballot. For Harlan City Council, we've got Justin Luttrell, Jeff Phillips, Chris Jones, Benny Patton Jr., Dave McCarthy, Tyler Darrell Frazier, Jason W. Childers, Jean Ann Lee, Johnny Jason Christian, and Ann Hensley. And I think there's 7 seats there. There's 7
There was
seats.
7 available, and 9 are running. So 2 people are going to get their feelings hurt tonight.
Yep. And of course, we do have the cannabis question on the city of Harlan too. And for the city of Loyal, the candidates that are on the ballot are William Anthony Epperson, Richard W. Call, Ashley Bledsoe, David Clay Lewis, and Elvin Smith. And there's 6 seats available and only 5 people there. So I guess those 5 will get on.
That I'm probably, and then I mean, here's a scenario though. What if you had 4 or 5 write-in candidates that filed, and the write-in candidates get more votes than those 5? I think there is a possibility that they don't.
Then,
It's slim. It's probably very slim, but I think so. If you go to the city of Lynch, we have 6 spots open and 6 people are running. Jerry Edwards, Leslie Young, Mark Hudak, Roger Wilhoit, Hal Tom Woods Jr., and R. Sissy Rutherford. That's the only 6 that are on the ballot. But as we've learned this election, write-in candidates will work, but we must also stress for your vote to count, you can't just call your buddy and say, hey, write my name in. You have to file as a write-in candidate.
Right. All right. And Constitutional Amendment 1, like I say, we don't have anything coming in yet. No precincts are reporting, so we don't have anything on Amendment 1 or Amendment 2 just yet. And as we said earlier when we came on, we're looking at nationwide the presidential race and early returns that are coming in. We only have Kentucky and Indiana showing some early returns, and Trump is leading by a great deal in Indiana and Kentucky.
Trying to find some statewide results on the Amendment 2. I'm not seeing. Well, I am. If I can, I've got to create a free. Can't read that one. We're going to try to find something. See, looks like the screen may be refreshing. When it goes blank like that's when he's refreshing it. But I've not seen any of the polling places come in yet. I know Cumberland is on the way. I did get a message about that. But we should get the absentees already. The first one that'll come in will probably be the Harlan Center, but you'll see them come in. We'll see them as they come through the door, and none have come through yet.
Okay. So there was more than likely people in line when the polls closed at 6.
As of 6:36 p.m., with only 2.7% of the vote counted, which is very minimal.
Yeah.
61% have voted no to Amendment 2, and 39% have voted yes. I have to stress, though, that is only 2% of the vote counted.
Yeah.
That doesn't really tell you anything at this point. If we look at Amendment 1 with, about 2.6% counted right now, 64% have voted yes for Amendment 1. That's the one that talks about being a U.S. citizen.
Right.
And only 35.5% have voted no. Again, that's only 2.6% of the vote counted right now. It may continue in that trend, or it may flop. I mean, that's the beauty of elections. That's what I love. You can't call it until every precinct is counted, because I have seen somebody carry and carry and carry, and then it comes up to the last precinct and it flips. It's exciting. It's fun to watch. But we've got, we already gave the results on presidential that we've got right now. Let's see if there's something else. Oh, we do have something interesting here. We have a tie in New Hampshire.
Wow.
And New Hampshire has 4 electoral votes. They have a tie right now, 50% each. I'm not entirely. We'll have to get more information on that, but that is interesting. Yeah, right now they're at 50% each. And it looks like that is just with one county only reporting, a county called Coos County. Looks like there's 9 counties left in New Hampshire that have not been counted yet.
I'm anxious to see returns coming in from Pennsylvania.
Yes. Yeah, that's the big swing state, isn't it?
Yeah.
Let's see.
And Trump is projected to carry North Carolina and Georgia, I think I'd heard.
Yeah. Yeah, it always comes down to the swing states.
Yeah.
Traditionally, and anyone listening that doesn't know what a swing state is, traditionally, like Kentucky will traditionally go Republican. Mm-hmm. That's where its electoral votes go. Yeah. Traditionally, it's not guaranteed. If the vote comes up, the delegates may send the votes to Democratic. It's not guaranteed, but that traditionally is what it is. Now, a swing state is one that you never know from election to election what it's going to be. That's why it's called a swing state. Yeah. It could go either way, but it's going to be exciting. Looks like we've got the very first precinct coming in. It's coming up the stairs right now. We've got Cumberland, definitely.
So Cumberland has beat Harlan and bringing the...
there may be 2 there.
Okay.
We've got the legendary Paul Browning in the house now. Where's my hibachi? Paul has told me for years now that all we had to do, any of us that broadcasting, all we had to do was go to Sasquatchy Hibachi and we ate for free. None of us took him up on the offer, and now he doesn't have it anymore, so we missed out on that one. That's a long running, which Sasquatchy Hibachi is still available. It's just at the Rail House Grill now.
Yeah.
Got sidetracked there. We had a precinct come in. I'm sorry, Tracy. I got sidetracked.
So we still haven't seen anything, anybody from any of the precincts close by come in. I mean,
no, they bring that in, and that the bag that they're carrying has got the cassette that they plug into the computer that's got the electronic votes on it that it counts, and it's also there's a paper printout that they've got that's the backup. I don't know what else they have, what's in the box and things, but that's every single precinct brings that in, and that's how they count it. And it blows my mind. You would think in today's technology that those votes would be able to go across the internet and be sent. Maybe they're afraid that opens it up for tampering is why they don't do it.
Yeah, it could be hacked. It's probably best that it doesn't go that way.
Looks like we have another precinct coming in right now. So it's getting ready to get exciting. We're getting ready to start really jumping.
Okay, we'll take a little break and be back in just a little bit. You're listening and watching Election 2024 with WTUK Sean Burnett and me, Tracy Turner. in on.
And we're back. Tracy, we've got 3 precincts reporting now. That's 12.5% of the vote. As you can see on the screen, it's listed in the upper right hand. That's a total of 2,977 votes that have been cast. That's a lot of votes.
That's a lot.
So
And they all came in at once.
as it's rolling up through here, we get the straight party. 131. Well, I did it again. I read the absentee. We read the far right. 83.2% of people that voted straight party voted Republican. Democrat got 15.5%, and then the Kentucky Party 0.72, and Libertarian Party 0.5%. So there were 1,257 people that just pulled Republican straight party. So as we roll into president right here, which is, I mean, this is no surprise. Donald Trump is carrying Harlan County with 3 precincts reporting right now with 83.4% of the vote. Kamala Harris with 15.85. That is with only 12% of the vote reporting.
Right.
We've got, you've got some of the independents with just minuscule amounts of votes there. As we roll into the United States Representative in Congress, 5th Congressional District, Hal Rogers is unopposed, so he got 100% of those votes. I'm amazed that we have close to 3,000 votes in just 3 precincts.
That's a good turnout. That is a good turnout.
Now, as we come up to the state senator's race, it's not showing write-in votes, but the write-in candidate is who will win this, because unfortunately Johnny Turner passed away, and 2 or 3 days before Johnny passed away, David Sir pulled his name and withdrew from the race, so his votes are not eligible. So this one will be a write-in candidate, yes, which we don't have on this screen. We'll get that to you as soon as we can get it, but we don't have it right now.
Right now, State Representative 87th District, Adam Bowling running unopposed, and most of these representatives in the senatorial races, we've got one candidate that's on the ballot. State Representative 94th District, Mitchum Addison Whitaker is the only candidate on, and Commonwealth's Attorney, 26th Judicial Circuit, Karen Davenport.
Yep.
She's the only candidate on the ballot.
She will be replacing Parker Boggs, who chose not to run this time. Mm-hmm. Circuit Clerk, we have Wendy Flannery, unopposed. Wendy is actually here in the courthouse with us today.
Yes. And the county surveyor's position we were talking about earlier, there's no candidate there, so.
Yep. And no one has filed to run. No one has filed as write-in candidate for as long as I can remember, to be honest. Here comes the Board of Education. Will be it's not going to be interesting.
This is First District, Harlan County Board of Education, First District. Hiram Fields is the only candidate on the ballot. And
Second District Board of Education, Gary Farmer running unopposed in that district. It seems like there's not a lot going on in this particular election, but it is a very important election.
Yes, absolutely. And we were kind of kicking around a while ago while we were off the air there. It's unusual that we don't have a crowd here at the courthouse tonight. Usually.
In the Third District Board of Education, we have Carrie Stevens. She's filed to run. She's the only candidate. She's new. She's a new one. She's not currently a member. If we go to the Independent Board of Education, there's 2 seats open. It's Matt Nunez and Cynthia Allison. They are the only 2 that have filed to run on that. So unless something weird happens with write-in that we don't know about, they've got it. City Council for Benham is rolling up here. You can vote for up to 6. There are only 5 running right now, and they are in this order. Kristen Simpson has 25%, Devin Watts with 19%, Bradley Sherman 19%, George Massey Sr. with 15%, and Chad Morgan with 20%. You can vote for up to 6. There are only 5 there. What happens if they only elect 5? Where does the 6th one come from?
I have no idea. City Council for Cumberland. We've got 7 seats available here. Tyler Blair showing 13.6%. Randall Tackett is showing 11.4%. Teresa Polson Raleigh is coming in at 8.10%. Tommy Jenkins at 12.91%. Alana Scopa Forson has 10.89%. Jordan Blair with 12.15. George Powers, 10.63. Jonathan Fields with 15.9%, and Brooke Williams with 5.82%.
We've got the Cumberland cannabis question up next. Right now with, I don't know how many precincts that is reporting. Right now they voted yes 58.1% to no 41.8%. That's on the cannabis question.
And in the city of Everett's, we've got 6 seats available on city council in Everett's. We've only got 2 candidates, Clark Williams and Jacqueline Renfro. So,
and there's 6 positions available. In the Everett's cannabis question, this one is backwards from Cumberland.
yep.
No is the leading vote right now, with 51.6% voting no to the cannabis question in Everett's, and it's very, very close, 48.3% voting yes to the Everett's cannabis question.
Yeah, and that's with only 3 precincts reporting so far.
Well, we do have to point out with the precincts, it's not like it used to be. We don't have all of the votes from Everett's. Where you have countywide jurisdiction and you can vote at any precinct, you tell them what precinct you vote in. So those are Everett's residents that may have voted at the Civic Center, may even have voted up at Cumberland. So it's not like it used to be where we've got Everett's precincts in, we've got them all. We have to have all 24 precincts in to have them all now.
Well, the cannabis question in Harlan, interesting. Yes, 53.87%. No, 46.13%. So the yeses are leading in Harlan. For city council, city of Lowell, there's 6 seats available, and we have 5 candidates running. So those 5 will take a seat, I'm sure. Unless you said there could possibly be write-ins that come in that we're not seeing. So.
I know for a fact there's write-in candidates in Everett's. I know that for a fact.
Okay.
I don't know about Lowell, Benham, Lynch. I don't know about those races. We've got city council for Lynch rolling up here. There's 6 people on the ballot. You can vote for up to 6. Jerry Edwards, Leslie Young, Mark Hudak, Roger Wilhoit, Hal Woods Jr., and R. Sissy Rutherford right now are the 6.
And we're getting some more precincts coming in right now. So we'll, right now, as we said before, we're only showing 3 out of 24 precincts, and it's going to be updating here in just a few minutes.
When that screen goes blank like that we're looking at, they're getting ready to pop more polling place. And if you notice, it's worded different. It used to say precincts reporting, and now it says polling places reporting because you can vote anywhere. It's made it just a little difficult, not difficult, but a little different to follow as it was in previous years.
I think it's more convenient. Personally, that's my thinking on it. It's more convenient for the voters.
Oh, yes, without a doubt. He's updating right now. And listen, if you go in that back room where they're counting votes right now, you've got the technician back there counting votes. You've got the Republican representative, the Democratic representative. There's a state election board representative back there, and they're all in this tiny little bitty room. And if you walk in that room, they look at you like, "What are you doing here?" It's you don't want to be in that room.
And we can recap what we just did earlier on voting straight party. At 3 out of 24 precincts reporting voting straight party, the Republican Party 83.21% pulled straight Republican, and 15.59% pulled straight Democrat. And of course, you've got the Kentucky Party and the Libertarian Party, and those are only minuscule percentages on those.
We have no changes in the swing states nationwide on the presidential yet. It's the fun part about these election results is they're slow going, and then all at once it's just boom, and everything starts hitting, and it's exciting and fun. I'm really impressed with only 3 polling places reporting. We've got almost 3,000 votes. That is great. I'm a big proponent of exercising your constitutional right in voting, and it looks like people have come out and done just that.
A lot of people take the stance that my vote's not going to count. It's just one vote. It's just one vote. It's not going to count. What if everybody thought that?
You're exactly right.
And then, too, if something comes up and you don't like what the candidate that won, you don't like what he's doing or she's doing, you have no right to bellyache.
Yeah, you're right.
You really have no right to bellyache. If you didn't cast your vote either way, you have no right to complain.
You're exactly right. Screen's coming up again. It's still just got 3 of 24. That's 12.5% of the places reporting. Looks like we've got another one just came in.
Yeah, this is we've got about 3 or 4 extra precincts that have came in.
That one actually, that box has a label that says Ross Point, so let's assume that that's Ross Point.
Okay.
I may be wrong, but that would be my guess.
Unless Lynch borrowed Ross Point's box.
Well, that's a possibility. See, we've got.
Once again, in the presidential race, Donald Trump is leading with 83.47%. Kamala Harris is showing 15.85%. Now we're coming up with 6 precincts. We've just updated here, and the screen will be updating shortly, and we'll go from 3 to 6 polling places. We're calling them precincts, but they're actually polling places. So we'll be looking at 6 out of 24 polling places here shortly, just in a few seconds here it comes.
We got clarification while that's rolling up. A write-in candidate, if say those city council races where you had 6 there, if a write-in candidate got more votes than any of those 6, it overrules them as long as they're a legal write-in candidate that filed. So here we go. With 6 of 24 polling places reporting, this is 25% of the vote in Harlan County. That is 3,924 votes. Of that, 84% pulled straight party Republican and 14% pulled Democratic straight party Republican. That doesn't include the people that didn't pull straight party. That's just the percentage of who pulled straight party. As we come into president right here, no real change right here. Donald Trump and J.D. Vance still with 85.4%. Kamala Harris and Tim Walz with 13.9%. That may have widened just a little bit, but it's been pretty close right there the entire time.
That's with 3,899 votes showing out of 6 polling places.
We're going to have a huge turnout.
That is a lot of votes.
In the 5th Congressional District, Hal Rogers is running unopposed, so he has 100% of that vote. In the state senator's race, unfortunately we can't see the write-in stuff, but if Johnny Turner and David Sura were running, Johnny Turner is carrying it with 78.3% and David Sura with 21.9%. Neither, obviously, Johnny passed away and David withdrew from the race, so those votes will not count.
Okay, now these totals that they're showing here on this, is this people that actually voted anyway? Or
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it was still on the ballot. You could still vote for them, but it doesn't
count.
It doesn't count
for anything. Yeah. State Representative 87th District, only one candidate, Adam Bowling, on there. And for State Representative 94th District, Mitchum Whitaker, the only candidate. Karen Davenport, once again, Commonwealth's attorney. 26th Judicial District, you said she will be taking Parker Boggs' place. And we've got 3,196 votes in out of 6 polling places right now.
And Circuit Clerk Wendy Flannery, unopposed. She got 3,418 votes. It's hers, unopposed, so it's hers. County Surveyor, it looks like you. How would you vote if there's no candidate? How would you vote? Unless you wrote in a name, but unless that was registered, it won't count. Here's another precinct coming in right now. I couldn't read what that one said. There's 2 precincts coming in right now.
Hiram Fields, the only candidate for the Board of Education, 1st District.
And then we've got in the 2nd District, we've got Gary Farmer, unopposed. Gary's been there for a long time, hasn't he?
Yes. Went to school with Gary.
I think he's the chairman of the board, isn't he, actually?
Excellent.
In the 3rd District, however, we have a new board member, Carrie Stevens.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that is her first attempt at any office ever. In the Harlan Independent School District, we have 2 positions. You can vote for 2. Matt Nunez and Cynthia Allison are the only 2 listed on the ballot. We have another precinct coming in right now.
They're coming in everywhere. We've got deputies everywhere tonight.
It's
the city of Benham City Council. We've got 6 seats up here, and we've got 5 candidates.
Mhm.
So unless there's any write-ins, all 5 of those, Kristen Simpson, Devin Watts, Bradley Sherman, and the other 2 that just went away when the screen refreshed.
We've now got 9 of 24. That's 37.5% of the vote. That is 5,192.
We're quickly headed toward that 50%. I think we're probably what time is it? It's just a little after 7.
Yep.
We're probably going to have most of this by 8 o'clock, I would say.
I'd say so. As it's rolling up here, the straight party, this one is deceptive. 85.7% pulled Republican straight party and 12% pulled Democrat. That is not total votes. That is just people that went in and hit straight party. That's 85% of those people voted Republican and 12.5% voted Democrat. When we get down to the presidential race, it's hovering with 9 of 24 precincts reporting in Harlan County. It's hovering basically where it already was. Donald Trump and J.D. Vance with 87% of the vote. Kamala Harris and Tim Walz with 12.1% of the vote. And then you've got Jill Stein, Robert F. Kennedy, who withdrew, so his votes will not count. I don't know how to say that. I'm not even going. It's an independent candidate. I'm not going to attempt it. And Chase Oliver is the Libertarian candidate.
And they only got minuscule percentages there. Hal Rogers running unopposed, the only candidate for 5th Congressional District. The state senator, 29th District. Once again, we lost Johnny Turner, and David Sir pulled out of the race. So this is an entirely write-in campaign here. And we had, I think you said, was it 11 candidates on the write-in?
Yes, we can go through those real quick.
Let's run through those.
The candidates, and this is in alphabetical order, are Andrew Thomas Saylor, Craig Blackburn, James Tyler Ward II, John Clem, Justin Noble, Leonard Hendrickson, Paul Williams, Scott Maiden, Tanner Hesterberg, Valerie Eisenhorn, and Willie Crace. And of those candidates, 2 are from Harlan. Andrew Saylor and John Clem are from Harlan County.
And did we get confirmation that those votes may be tallied tonight?
Yes, we were told that they would probably know tonight. I'm not entirely sure how we will find that out and how we will get that out, but we will get that out as soon as we find out. The Commonwealth's attorney that one is going to change. Parker Boggs is not running, so Karen Davenport will be your next Commonwealth's attorney.
Wendy Flannery running unopposed for circuit clerk.
County surveyor is not even running.
We have 5,192 votes that we're looking at right now. 9 out of 24 polling places in the county, which is 37.5% of the total county vote that we're looking at right now. Hiram Fields, unopposed in the Board of Education 1st District. And once again, Gary Farmer, unopposed in the 2nd District.
Well, if we pull up nationwide results on the presidential race right now, Trump is carrying a lead in Florida. Trump is carrying a lead in Georgia, in Kentucky, obviously. And Indiana, he is carrying a lead. So, and then when you go up to New Hampshire, it's a dead tie at 50% with just one county's reporting there, as we talked about. But there are no states that are reporting right now going to Kamala. They're all going to Trump, the ones that are reporting right now. That will change. That will change.
Absolutely. And the Board of Education, Harlan Independent School District Board of Education, only 2 candidates on the ballot, Matthew Nunez, Cynthia Allison. City Council for the city of Benham, 6 seats up with 5 candidates. And I'll go over those again. We got cut off last time. Kristen Simpson, Devin Watts, Bradley Sherman, George Massey Sr., and Chad Morgan. Those are the candidates on the ballot for the city of Benham.
We've got another voting place. I was told that it's not precincts, it's voting places now.
Polling places.
Polling places. So 2 more came in.
Right now, our screen is showing 924 polling places, 37.5%.
I just love that we've got just over a third of the votes counted, and that's already over 5,000 votes. And we've had elections where we've not had many more than that total.
Yeah.
So
really.
we've still, there's large polling places still out that will need to come in, and it's, I hope we see 15,000.
I do too. I do too.
Speaking with someone earlier, the largest results that they remember was a couple of years ago, and there were 12,000 voters. I hope we top that. Not just top it, but crush it.
Crush it. Okay, the cannabis question. In the city of Everett, those voting yes are 57.02 to no 42.98. So the yes vote is leading in the city of Everett on the cannabis question, 57% to 42%. City council race for the city of Harlan. We've got 7 seats that are available. We have Justin Luttrell with 12.21%, Jeff Phillips with 11.76%, Chris Jones has 10.06%, Benny Patton Jr. has 10.58%, Dave McCarthy has 10.39%, Tyler Frazier showing 8.95%, Jason Childers with 8.16%, Jean Ann Lee with 11.04%, Johnny Jason Christian with 5.94%, and Ann Hensley with 10.91%.
With more precincts reporting, Harlan now has voted yes. It's not all not all polling places, but Harlan has voted yes on the cannabis question. 54.85% yes, 45.1% no.
Now, keep in mind, this cannabis question that we're referring to here is not legalizing marijuana in these cities.
That's right.
This is just to allow the dispensaries
Yes.
to be set up in the city for prescribed cannabis.
Medicinal marijuana only.
Yes.
We've got 13 of 24 precincts reporting. That is 54.1% of the vote. And that didn't bring a lot of votes in. We're only at 5,963 now.
Wow.
So we've got about 6 more precincts, and we only got about 800 votes.
It's going quick.
We've got another precinct coming in right now. We're back at the top of the list right there. The Republican Straight Party, 86.63 to Democrat Straight Party, 11.75. The presidential race is still right there, right where it was. Donald Trump and J.D. Vance with 87.7%. Kamala Harris and Tim Walz with 11.4%.
I don't see that gap closing anytime.
No. There's 2 more precincts that just came in. In the United States Representative in Congress, 5th Congressional District, Hal Rogers is unopposed. Have we got any statewide results on the Amendment 2?
You can look at that. Once again, State Senator 29th Senatorial District, Johnny Turner's district. They're all write-ins. We went over the candidates earlier. There's like 11 of them. We don't have those totals on the write-ins right now. but we will possibly have those before it's all over with. And if not, it'll be on the news in the morning. State Representative 87th District, Adam Bowling, the only candidate on the ballot.
We've got in statewide on Kentucky Amendment number 2, statewide with only 8.2% of the vote in right now. That's not a lot. 62.5% have voted no to Amendment 2, while 37.5% have voted yes to Amendment 2. If you go to Amendment 1 to require citizenship, with 7.71% of the votes counted, 65.6% have voted yes. They want you to be an American citizen to vote in an American election, and 34.4% have voted no. Those are statewide with just very minimal counties reporting at this time.
Any counties in any of the European countries would have to have something like this on the ballot to keep non-citizens from voting. That just blows my mind, honestly.
I agree with you. I agree. But let's see, we've got 13 of 24 precincts reporting. That's 54.1% of the vote. I'm really excited and curious to see the Senate race, how it turns out. I can't. I'll be up late tonight watching for that. And as soon as we get it, I can guarantee you we will put it on the Facebook pages.
Yes.
We need to take a moment to thank our sponsors here. Without these sponsors, we wouldn't be here tonight. Jared Nunley Realtor, Anderson Laws and Jones Funeral Home, Grease Monkey Quick Lube and Tire, J&J Fencing and Pools, Hometown Urgent Care, Matt's Feed and Seed, and you can't forget Ronnie Williams with Countryside Flooring located on Main Street there. Now, this is what I like to see. We've got a line of polling places with the results waiting to turn them in to get them counted.
Yeah,
so we should have them all soon here.
Yeah. Let's see. We're at 16 minutes now after 7 o'clock. I'm predicting by 8 o'clock we should have all of it in. We're looking at right now. Our screen is showing 13 out of 24 polling places, which is a little over 50%. It's 54.17% of all the votes in the county are in at this point. City Council for the city of Benham, once again, 5 candidates on there. And there's 6 seats available. So unless there's any write-in candidates, all of those will be going in.
Mm-hmm. In the city of Cumberland, you can vote for up to 7. Was this the one we had 9 candidates on, maybe?
I think so, yes.
Those candidates right now, and they're not in order of winners, so I have to pick them out and try to put them in order here. Jonathan Fields with 15%. We have Tyler Blair with 13%. Teresa Raleigh with, Tommy Jenkins with 12%, yeah. Jordan Blair with 12%, and then we go into Corky Tackett was next, and the screen updated on us. We now have 15 of 24 precincts reporting, 62.5% of the vote. That jumped up to 7,195 total ballots cast.
15 polling places, 7,000, well, close to 7,200 people have voted out of those 15 polling places.
As it's coming up right here, the straight party, Republican Party, of the people that pulled straight party ticket, Republican Party, 86% were Republican and 12.3% were Democratic. There actually was about 1% that pulled Kentucky Party straight party and 0.62%, 20 votes total that voted Libertarian Party straight ticket.
In the presidential race, Donald Trump and J.D. Vance are still leading by a tremendous amount, 87.64% to Harris and Walz, 11.49%.
You know, those totals are staying. They've not moved. They're pretty much rock solid every one of the polling places that's come in.
That gap is just too big. I don't see that gap closing.
In the United States Representative, Hal Rogers' 5th Congressional District is unopposed. He has 6,144 votes. How long's he been there, Tracy? Do you remember?
Oh, gosh.
A long time.
A long time. I was trying to think how long I've been married, and I can't even remember that.
We've got the state senator's race came up. This is going to be a write-in candidate. However, 2,195 people did vote for Johnny Turner, and 637 people did vote for David Surr. That's out of about half the precincts reporting. It's sad to say, but those votes basically don't
wasted.
count
Yeah,
now.
They're wasted votes.
And that could be a misunderstanding, or I don't really know what would lead to that. State Representative, 87th Representative Adam Bowling is unopposed. In the 94th Representative, State Representative, Mitch Addison Whitaker is unopposed. In Commonwealth's Attorney, 26th Judicial District, Karen Davenport. She will be your new Commonwealth's Attorney, replacing Parker Boggs, who chose not to run this time.
Wendy Flannery running unopposed for Harlan Circuit Clerk.
In County Surveyor, unexpired term, no one has filed. In quite a long time, no one has filed. Let's see if we've got anything.
Any updates on any other states in the presidential election?
See what I can find. Hey, Paul, can you do us a favor? We've got some people asking, can you find out and come back what the undervotes and the overvotes actually is? Or do you know what that is right off?
Undervote, overvote mean?
Yes.
You know, I don't think, and I should know that.
I mean,
I really should know that. I'll go find out.
Thank you very much. We'll have an answer on that shortly.
I should know that.
So we've got right now, if we go to the nationwide, and this is early reporting, New Hampshire is carrying Trump with 61%. Vermont is going with Harris with 57%. Virginia, right now, Donald Trump with 58%. Kentucky, Trump with 72%. Indiana, Trump with 61%. South Carolina, that's a swing state, isn't it?
Yes.
Trump with 60%. Georgia, another swing state, Trump, 51.6%. And Florida, another swing state, Trump, this one's closer, with 52.9%. That's not finalized. That's just how it's leaning right now. We now have 17 of 24 polling places reporting. That's 7,714 votes cast. As the presidential race is coming up, it's, again, rock solid, not moving. Donald Trump with 87.9% and Harris with 11.2%. That one, that's pretty much what it is.
I think we could predict a winner there.
In Harlan County, I'd
Yes.
say Trump's going to take it easily. Here's another precinct coming in.
Hal Rogers once again running unopposed for a 5th District Congressional District. 17 of 24 polling places, that's just a little over 70%.
We're pretty close.
Of all the polling places, 7,717 votes out of 17 polling places. That's... I don't know if I've seen numbers like that in a while. It's been a while.
As it's coming up on the state senator's race again, Johnny Turner got 77.9%, David Surr with 22%, but that race will be determined with the write-in candidates. Yes. Without a doubt, it will be determined. In the state representative 87th district, Adam Bowling is unopposed. In the 94th district state representative, Mitchum Addison Whitaker is unopposed.
Now, if we can get to these city councils before it updates again, we'll pass those along to you.
Commonwealth's Attorney Karen Davenport is your new Commonwealth's Attorney, or will be your new Commonwealth's Attorney.
Huh? Yes.
In circuit clerk, Wendy Flannery is unopposed. County surveyor, no one has filed to run for county surveyor. So that one, still an empty seat.
You had mentioned in earlier elections that the screen moved so fast you couldn't read a lot of it, and now it's just the opposite.
And this is a strange election where there's a ton that are unopposed. You don't see that very often, but there's more unopposed in this election than I believe I've ever seen. So there's not really a whole lot to report on.
Right. The races everyone's interested in is the presidential race and, of course, the senatorial race for this district.
They're all important. They're all important.
They're all important.
But the big ones, the presidential race, like you said.
But what I'm saying, there's no competition.
Yeah.
In the other races, and.
Yep, you're exactly right. And the courthouse is starting to fill up. You can see some people behind us there. It still is nowhere near what it used to be. This courthouse used to be elbow to elbow all day long, the late hours of the night. It was very exciting atmosphere.
There was 2 seats up for a vote on the Harlan Independent School District, and there was only 2 candidates running for those 2 seats, Matt Nunez and Cynthia Allison.
In the city of Benham, you can vote for up to 6. There's only 5 running, though. Kristen Simpson, Devin Watts, Bradley Sherman, George Massey, and Chad Morgan. City of Cumberland will be a good one, though.
Yeah. Okay. We have 7 seats available in the city of Cumberland. And I'm looking to see who is leading here. It looks like Tyler Blair. No. George Powers. No, Jonathan Fields. Jonathan Fields is leading the way with 15%, followed by
Tyler Blair's next, and then Tommy Jenkins, and then we have Jordan Blair, Randall Tackett, George Powers, Teresa Raleigh, and Brooke Williams. I think I got all those.
It'd be nice if those were in order.
It would.
I have another precinct coming in at this time. I would say we are just about to get all of the polling places in. I keep calling them precincts. They're precincts. They're polling places.
And we're about to be joined by the legendary Paul Browning. Paul's got an answer for us. What you got, Paul?
So undervotes, overvotes.
Okay.
This is a little difficult to explain, but I will do my best.
Okay.
If you happen to have, let's say, 7 candidates running for city council, but they only voted for 6.
Okay.
That's an undervote.
Okay.
If on some weird chance you only, let's say you have 5 candidates, but there were some write-ins, and the write-ins were put in there as well, that's considered an overvote.
Okay.
So it's kind of just, it really works with the matrix of a particular precinct. So you may have a certain segment. You probably won't see it on just county-wide races,
Right.
but mostly you'll see it in the city races, especially if you had not enough candidates to fill a particular 6 instead of 7 or something to that effect. You'll probably, I'm curious to see what like the Everett's precinct will show in that situation, because you only had 2, but you had 5 available spots, but I think only 2 candidates. So that may be perfect, or it may show something really skewed for any particular reason. So in this case, like you see a large amount of undervotes with the early voting, for instance. So that means that basically they didn't fill in all of the particular races. They may have only voted in, there may have been 9 possibilities. They voted in 8.
Okay.
And that could even be across the board as far as Republican or Democrat. If there were 9 possibilities, you only voted 8. Then it's an undervote.
Okay.
So you didn't fill out the ballot all the way.
That makes sense.
It's an undervote. And if you filled it out and maybe there were write-in candidates or something to that effect, then it's an overvote.
That makes perfect
As
sense.
best as I can explain that.
That works for me.
So that comes from the beard of knowledge, David Vance, inside the inside the clerk's office. So he is my kind of go-to. If I can't find Ashley, I go to David, and one of those two normally have an answer that I can somehow digest. And it's one of my bad words, regurgitate. I can digest it, and then I can present. Maybe I should say I can cook it and then present it as a meal to everyone else. Maybe that's a better way of saying
There
it.
you go. Thank you, Paul.
You're very, very welcome, sir.
Well, that answered that question.
Okay.
Also, I'll tell you something I heard on the way down. I was listening to the coverage on the way down. So I wanted to clear a couple of things up because I had people ask me where I was in Cumberland, District 3. Cumberland was one of the cannabis cities. So a lot of people were like, well, so how does that work? Because the county said no. So how are the cities able to say it? And how it worked out was basically in the fiscal court's thought process was to take, we could have said the entire county could have been on the ballot for that. So when we looked at that, we said what additional resources would have to be available through the sheriff's department, enforcement, things of that nature. What would it cost the taxpayers of the county to have it on a countywide situation? I mean, the head of Catterns Creek, the head of Pathford, if they were to go in everywhere, what additional strain financially would that put on the sheriff's department? Because you're not really going to be bringing dollars back in. So we decided collectively that we would say no from a county standpoint, which then allowed the cities the ability to say yes or no and put it on their ballot because the city already has those resources in place. They have city police officers, things of that nature. So that was one of the reasons that when they were like, well, the county said no. Well, we didn't necessarily say no to the entire county. We said no to the other than city areas.
You just said that you didn't want the headache and left it to the. I mean, I don't know any better way to describe that.
And really, it was a financial burden as much as it was the headache. We didn't mind. I mean, I think the way it's laid out is very detailed. So and here's the other side of it. I don't want anyone to get too excited if there happens to be a yes in Cumberland or in Harlan or anywhere else, because we are lumped in with a very, very large geographical area. And it will include London, parts of London, Corbin area. So when this comes down, there's only like 1 or 2 licenses per this huge geographical area.
I see.
And then it'll drop down into population. So chances are, if there is a dispensary in our huge geographical area, it's going to be closer to the I-75 or closer to the Tennessee border because the Virginia side of things, they already have the dispensaries over there. So it most likely will move towards 75 or move towards a Tennessee border area, and ideally both. So I don't anticipate, even if we had yeses across the board in Harlan County, that the actual factual, at least initially, having the ability to have a dispensary here is probably, I don't want to say 0, but we'll say point something. That's very close. It's most likely mathematically not going to happen. So I did want to clear that up. Thank you very much.
Thank you. We've got the city council. We got city council for Cumberland coming up right now with 18 of 24 reporting. Instead of trying to pick these out in order, I'm just going to read all of them. We've got Tyler Blair with 13%, Randall Corky Tackett with 11%, Teresa Raleigh with 8%, Tommy Jenkins with 12%, Elena Forson with 10%, Jordan Blair has 11%, George Powers 11%, Jonathan Fields with 15%, and Brooke Williams with 5.87%. That is 18 of 24 polling places reporting 8,095 votes. The cannabis question in Cumberland, which Paul Browning explained to us, 60% have voted yes, they would allow dispensaries in the city limits, and 39% have said no, we don't want it here.
And for the city of Everett's, the same. This is city council. We got 2 candidates on the ballot for Everett City Council with 6 seats. 19 undervotes. Is that? Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm still not real clear what that means. The Everett's cannabis question: 56% have said yes, they'll take dispensaries in the city of Everett's, and 43% have said no. For the city council, for the city of Harlan, you can vote for 7. There are 9 candidates on this. So let me, as it scrolls up, I'll try to find the 2 that fall off and tell you the top 7. I think that
You've got Justin Luttrell and Jeff Phillips with 12%, a little over
Yes.
12%.
Chris Jones with 10%, Benny Patton 10%, Dave McCarthy with 10%, Tyler Frazier with 8%, Jean Ann Lee 10%, and Ann Hensley 10%. The two at the bottom right now are Jason Childers with 8.5% and Jason Christian with 6%. That is with 18 of 24 precincts, polling places reporting at this time. The city of Harlan has said yes, they would allow dispensaries in the city limits, cannabis dispensaries, with 58.6% voting yes and 41.3% voting no.
And keep in mind, we're only talking 18 of 24 right now. 18 polling places out of 24, so we've got 6 more to go.
Yep. City Council for the City of Lowell, you can vote for 6. There's only 5 on the ballot. William Epperson, Richard Call, Ashley Bledsoe, David Lewis, and Elvin Smith. And that is Richard Call being the front runner, receiving 22% of the vote, followed by Epperson, Bledsoe, and Lewis with 19%, and then Smith with 17%.
And in the city of Lynch, the City Council, there's 6 seats available, 6 candidates on the ballot. We have Jerry Edwards, Leslie Young, Mark Hudak, Roger Wilhoit, Hal Tom Woods Jr., and R. Sissy Rutherford. Now we're updating.
This is all of them.
This is all of them. 24 of 24 polling places.
And the vote count is down. It was 10,448 votes total. That's a lot. Don't get me wrong. That is up. That's not what we were expecting it to be, but that is up a lot.
Well over 10,000.
And that we've got now 24 of 24 polling places reporting. This is everything. On people that pulled straight party, 85% were Republican, 12% were Democrat, 1% Kentucky Party, and 0.58%, a little over 0.5%, were Libertarian Party in the presidential race. As it seems like it's scrolling slower, doesn't it?
It is.
Harlan County has elected Donald Trump as the next president. He received 87.7% of the vote. This is Harlan County only, and Harris got 11.5% of the vote. Again, that's Harlan County only.
And of course, these are unofficial results.
Yes.
They've not been. And 5th Congressional District, of course, Hal Rogers unopposed. So these write-in candidates for senator, we will more than likely, I'm thinking, have those on the news in the morning.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure we will. Now, we've got on the statewide level right now with 22% of the votes reporting statewide, Donald Trump is carrying all of the state. Jefferson County, Franklin County, and Fayette County have gone to Harris. And that's not really a surprise. Those areas traditionally would go Democratic normally. We've got several other states right now that are going with Trump.
And the amendment question. Have we been seeing that on the screen, or have I just been missing it?
Yes, it's down near the bottom, and before it gets to it, the screen's been updating on us.
It's been refreshing.
Right now, statewide, for Kentucky Amendment number 2, which is the one allowing state funding to go to non-public education, 64.5% so far of what's counted have voted no, 35.5% have voted yes. If you go to Amendment 1, which requires citizenship to vote, 61.5% have voted yes, 38.5% have voted no.
Nobody, county surveyor, I can't believe that.
While the screen's updating or scrolling until we get up to some of the other numbers, we need to thank our sponsors once again: Jared Nunley Realtor, Anderson Laws and Jones Funeral Home, Grease Monkey Quick Lube and Tire, J&J Fencing and Pools, Hometown Urgent Care, Matt's Feed and Seed, and Countryside Flooring. We're now in the Board of Education. We have Hiram Fields in 1st District, unopposed. In the 2nd District, we have Gary Farmer, who was unopposed. In the 3rd District, we have a new face to the party. We have Kerry Stevens, who was unopposed.
And we'll probably be able to go all the way down to the bottom this time.
I think so.
It won't be refreshing this time.
In the Harlan Independent Board of Education, you could vote for 2. There was only 2 on the ballot. That's Matt Nunez and Cynthia Allison.
City Council, City of Benham, 6 seats available. Kristen Simpson with 23.3%, 23.03%. Devin Watts with 19.09%. Bradley Sherman, 19.55%. George Massey Sr., 17.73%. And Chad Morgan with 20.61%.
In the City of Cumberland, you can vote for up to 7. There are 9 running. We'll let this get up so we can see all 9 of them, and I'll drop the 2 off the bottom. And all right, so for City of Cumberland, Tyler Blair, Randall Tackett, Tommy Jenkins, Elena Forson, Jordan Blair, George Powers, and Jonathan Fields are the top 7. Teresa Raleigh only got 8%, and Brooke Williams got 5.75. Those are the 2 on the bottom that fell off.
Okay. Council will remain the same. No one changes.
And we were just informed there are no changes to the Cumberland City Council. That is the current council members. Cumberland voted for the cannabis question. They voted yes. 62% said yes, they would allow a dispensary in their city. 37% voted no.
The City of Everett's, City Council, Clark Williams and Jacqueline Renfro. There's 6 seats, 2 candidates.
In Everett's voted yes, they would allow a cannabis dispensary in city limits, with 56.9% voting yes and 43% voting no.
Now that was an interesting race there.
Yeah.
That started out with the noes ahead.
Yeah, it's not over till it's over when
Yeah.
these elections. We've got the Harlan City Council coming up. You can vote for 7. I was just moving my mouse on the computer screen, trying to move that screen up there. You vote for 7. I think 9 ran. Let me get the bottom 2 right now. Jason Childers fell off, and Jason Christian fell off. Winning that race are Justin Luttrell, Jeff Phillips, Chris Jones, Benny Patton, Dave McCarthy, Tyler Frazier, Jean Ann Lee, and Ann Hensley. A lot of those names are already on the city council right now.
That was close between Tyler Frazier and Jason Childers.
Yes. And in Harlan, the city of Harlan, it also has voted yes, they will allow a medicinal marijuana dispensary in the city. 58.5% voted yes, 41.4% voted no.
And 6 seats available on the City Council of Loyal. William Anthony Epperson, Richard Call, Ashley Bledsoe, David Clay Lewis, and Elvin Smith on the ballot.
In City Council for Lynch, it says you can vote for up to 6. I'll let this scroll up until we get all of them, and then we'll is this the one that only had? This one only had 6 running.
Right.
So Jerry Edwards got 21%, Leslie Young 15.5%, Mark Hudak with 14.2%, Roger Wilhoit 17.3%, Hal Tom Woods Jr. with 16.8%, and R. Sissy Rutherford with 14.99%. And here's your constitutional amendments. I'll let you take those, Tracy.
The vote for the constitutional amendment won. The yeses have got that with 67.5% to 32.5% on the noes. And constitutional amendment 2, which is the school funding question, no. gets that 57.71% voted no and 42.29% voted yes. So that has been squashed.
That is the end of the report. What do you think, Tracy?
Well, it went pretty much the way I thought it would.
I agree. No surprises there, really.
I'll sure be interested to know the winner of the senatorial race, though. That's an interesting race.
And we don't know exactly when that will come out or how that will come out, but what we can guarantee is as soon as we receive that, we will put that out also. We will put it on the Facebook pages.
And
I'm sure it'll be in the news.
Yeah.
You'll have it on your show. We'll get it out there.
Yeah, it'll be on Facebook just as soon as we get it. And that could be, we were told that it could be possibly as early as 9 or 10 o'clock tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
you want to wrap things up and
I guess we could. We'd like to thank our sponsors once again. You guys, we really appreciate Jared Nunley, Realtor, Anderson Laws and Jones Funeral Home, Grease Monkey Quick Lube and Tire, J&J Fencing and Pools, Matt's Feed and Seed, Hometown Urgent Care, and Countryside Flooring. Thank you guys so much for sponsoring this.
So on behalf of Tracy Turner, I'm Sean Burnett. We've got the lovely Kerrigan Baker over here running engineering for us.
Good night, everyone.